Thanks again for joining me for Katy's Corner. This is the best edition of Katy's Corner because I get to talk to Ed. So I don't think Ed needs an introduction. He does a lot of videos. Ed, tell us about yourself. Tell us, there's a lot of people watching. Some people are new.
Okay.
How long have you been here?
Can I just interrupt the normal flow of
Yes,
Katy's
let's
Corner?
do it.
I want to shout out to Katy because I think she's done an amazing job bringing the extreme personalities to video. You've taken on a persona of your own. I think you have maybe a second career. I think we might all agree that Katy, you could do this somewhere else. We want you here.
Thank you.
Just saying. I think you've done a great job with these.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
everybody's waiting to hear about you.
Okay.
So, and you don't know that a lot of people don't know. So, how long have you been at Extreme? How did you get to Extreme? Tell us.
Okay. So I used to be a customer.
Okay.
Going way back when.
Wow.
Yes.
That I didn't know.
I was the CEO of a telecom services provider. It was called Cavalier Telephone and TV. And we used extreme switching in the core of our network. And our teams loved it. And they brought me down to the network operations center and they were like, it's awesome. And they were explaining the speeds and the feeds and they're like, and it's purple, which I thought was pretty funny. Well, a couple of years later, through an investor, I got introduced to Gordon Stitt, who was the founder. And he asked me to join the board because Extreme was looking at service provider tier 2, tier 3, which is what I was.
Right.
And he asked me to join the board, so it's 10 years.
So but you jumped quickly. You became the chairman of the board.
That's right.
Which is a big deal.
I became I was surprised. I was one of the youngest board members. I was the only board member not in Silicon Valley, and I was looking at things through a customer lens.
Yeah.
As opposed to being an engineer. Everyone at Extreme knows I'm not, an engineer, like computer science, technology person. I'm learning. Mm-hmm. But I was more customer oriented. And they asked me if I would become chairman of the board.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I said to my wife,
awesome.
They asked me to be chairman of the board.
I'm
honored. I'll do it.
That's
and
a big deal.
It's been a great experience for me.
How long have you been CEO?
4 years.
4 years.
And it's hard to believe it's been 4 years.
There are people watching that don't know what it means to be the CEO. I mean, they know that you're running the company, but do you have a couple sentences on what does it mean to be a CEO?
It means I get to be surrounded by awesome people that do amazing work. Like you, Katy, and like our E-team. I balance the board, mm-hmm. I balance investors, I balance employees, customers, partners. I'm in the middle of all the stakeholders. Yeah. It's kind of how I see what I have to do.
And how much of your time do you think you spend with customers?
Not enough. This year I'm spending more. It's probably 25% of my time with customers, yeah. Which is up. We've done some deals when you're doing transactions and buying companies and integrating them and integrating people. It takes time away from customers. So I've been spending more time
doing that, which is awesome. So in 2017, Glassdoor rated, you have amazing ratings on Glassdoor. I haven't looked today, but it's amazing. But in 2017, they recognized you as one of the top CEOs. So
they did.
Tell us a little bit why you think, you've been called a visionary, you've been called strategic, you're incredibly smart with our investors and you balance their interests with our employees' interests and what else?
I appreciate all these things that you're saying.
No, it's not what I'm saying, I've read it. But you're also living, our dean would say that you live our values. So yes. I think that has a lot to do with it. So tell us about that.
All right, so I'm just gonna rewind first, the whole Glassdoor thing. My own cynical side would say, this is the year that we were paying over 100% bonuses. We were 11 for 11.
Yeah.
And our stock went through the roof.
Right.
So anytime you're in an environment where people are getting paid, things are working out well, and your stock is going up, you look good as a CEO. I would just make that comment. I think that had something to, maybe just a little bit to do with it.
I think though that people at Extreme are very loyal. Dean would say we have low attrition.
We do.
She looks at the metrics all the time.
Yeah.
And people love to be here. And I think a lot of that has to do with our values and you living them. I know that your teamwork is hugely important to you. Transparency and candor. So
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So this is my view, and this is what I think it takes to win in business. And it's different than maybe being in a social situation outside of work. So if you want to be candid with someone and you go to their house for dinner and the food is no good, you're not going to tell the host or hostess that the food's no good, okay? You won't get invited back. But in business, it's important to know like what's real. So if the candor piece is big, it's hard because it's about being honest and being real, which is not always easy for people. Transparency is key. You have to see what's going on inside of a company to be able to know what to manage and what's going on. You have to be curious. So you have to always think about what is it that we can do differently. And I think people at the company know we're always changing because we always have to change what it is that we're doing to change outcomes and to do better. And
we love everyone to be
we have to be owners because you got to own the outcome, and then it's a team sport. So there's absolutely no way anyone in this company could possibly win at extreme as an individual.
Right.
And so we all have to play, we have to play like teams, and that teamwork piece is critical, and it's backing up others, it's supporting others when they fall down, and then it's also kicking them when they need a kick. So it's kind of creating that environment, and that's what you see with winning teams.
Yeah.
So,
which is great.
These are the values that I believe will help us at Extreme win if we can embrace them.
Yeah, and they've been great so far.
I think,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna just pivot to the personal for a minute. So I know that you are married and you have 3 children, and
Yes.
you talk about your family a lot.
Yes.
You're a family guy.
I'm a family
And
guy.
so we have a lot of people at Extreme that are for balancing work and life. So before we get there, I want you to tell us, you have a very accomplished son. You have 2 daughters that are very accomplished and up and coming. So tell us about
And my wife.
And of course your
I
wife.
gotta start off my wife.
Yeah,
because
start with her because she's running the show.
She's amazing. She's
running the
amazing, and I'm
show.
super, super fortunate. And she's super bright. She got a graduate degree at Columbia. She's into interior design and gardening and plants and flowers. So
And
I'm
she
very
does
fortunate.
contests,
So
you said.
when I come home, I'm like living in this paradise because of how she makes our home. But she's like my best friend. So that's important from a partnering perspective. And then I have a son and 2 daughters. My son's in San Francisco.
Tell us how old they are.
He's 24, and he's working in tech banking, believe it or not, in San Francisco. I have a daughter who's working in New York this summer, but she's going to be a senior at SMU in Dallas. And then my baby, Charlotte, who is 18, just graduated from high school, and she's going to Bucknell next year. So,
And they're all into sports.
and they've all
They're
been
all
into
smart.
sports and teams, and they've done very well and very fortunate. They're smart. They take after their mom. And I have a big family outside of this,
Yes.
and so I'm very close with my parents and my sister and my brother and their families and cousins, and
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of us,
Yeah.
and we stay close.
Yeah.
So we're
It's a
a
big
family-oriented family.
Yeah, which is awesome. So there are people watching, and they're gonna think, holy cow, the CEO has 3 kids, and he's running a company, and he's dealing with customers. How do you do it all?
I guess I would take it back to that's where it goes back to my wife.
She's the glue.
She's the glue. But also, communication, and I think people, in my job, I'm always on.
Yeah.
So it just means that when I'm on vacation, I'm gonna be talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be talking to Eric, I'm gonna be talking to Nabil or Norman or Bob or Dean, or just it's the whole team. We're always on, and my family's used to it, so they've grown up with it, so they're very accommodating.
Yeah.
And they don't get too upset with me. And
Well,
it
there's
works.
something very special about your wife. Besides being very smart and calm, because she's managing all of this, she's also from another country.
She's from Argentina.
originally.
Yeah, she's Latin.
So you grew up with quite an international experience,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Dealing with other cultures and languages and.
Yeah, my in-laws are from Argentina, and that's where Andrea's from, and her family's from there, and it adds a really fun dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
great, which makes it easier for you when you travel because you're very flexible
Very
So
flexible.
You are flexible. with
I will
other
try to
cultures.
speak Spanish, but it's not gonna work out so well. My kids laugh at, my family, they like to laugh at my language.
You, so just because I know people are watching this and everyone looks up to you, we have a lot of younger people, we have a lot of middle-aged people like me, older people like me. So what are some words of wisdom that you can give us? Some words of advice that just, what do you think?
I see, so I think
You've already given a lot, by the way.
I think you have to keep it positive. So if I have to keep it simple,
So glad you
I'm
said
gonna
that.
say keep it positive.
Yeah.
Keep it constructive. In work, I talk about constructive conflict. It's okay to disagree, but be constructive in how you go about it, not destructive. The same thing applies to home. For me, I think the key is to always keep it on the sunny side. Look at the positive. Be real.
That's another thing I've read about you.
But stay positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that when I started, you told me to read a book, and the title was Positivity?
Oh,
Something?
positivity.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's what it's called. So yeah, you live that as well, and we all know that, and we love that about you. So thank you for speaking with me. I'm going to give
Thank
you a
you for
hug.
having me,
I
Katy.
appreciate it.